Is Balochistan a land where modern laws, policies, and governance fail to reach? Or is it a land where its people still live as if in the colonial era? Pakistan claims that Balochistan, one of its 4 federal units, is governed by modern laws, institutions, and a constitution. Yet, the reality on the ground tells a very different story. In this week's Zrumbesh Insight, we examine whether Balochistan is truly governed by modern law or if it still lives under the shadow of the colonial era. According to observers, Baloch political workers, and the human rights organizations, Baloch are punished unlawfully in complete secrecy by the state itself. This darkness serves 2 purposes: to spread fear across Baloch society and to shield the state from accountability. The aim is clear: to threaten, subdue, and control Baloch resources. Thousands of Baloch political workers and ordinary citizens have vanished through enforced disappearances. Extrajudicial killings continue to surface, and in some cases, mass graves have been discovered. One individual's action can put an entire family under suspicion. The consequences ripple far beyond those directly involved. This is not new. Such measures are a modern face of an old practice called collective punishment. Collective punishment has existed for centuries. Families or entire communities were held responsible for the actions of a single individual. During colonial times, empires like the British often punished whole villages suspected of supporting resistance movements through fines, destructions of home, or forced relocations. In the 20th century, the dangers of this practice became horrifyingly clear. During World War II, the Nazi regime executed civilians and destroyed villages in reprisals against resistance movements. In response, the United Nations helped establish international humanitarian law. The Geneva Conventions of 1949 explicitly prohibited the collective punishment, making clear that only individuals proven responsible for crimes may be punished, and civilians must never bear the consequences of others' action. Yet in Balochistan, this practice continues in various forms. For decades, Baloch communities have faced systematic measures at the hands of Pakistan's military. Families are targeted to compel compliance or silent dissent. Baloch political activists are abducted and subjected to enforced disappearances, and often without formal charges or without informing their families of their whereabouts. Families endure months, sometimes years of psychological sufferings under constant pressure and fear. Legal remedies for victims are limited or non-existent. The state targets not just activists but the entire family to break their will, spread fear, and silence whole communities. In the 1970s, Baloch women were abducted to force their husbands, brothers, and sons to abandon resistance. That same generational brutality continues today. In 2011, Nasser Dagazai was abducted twice and shot. He survived the first stage encounter but was killed in the second. 15 years later, in early 2026, his 18 years old son, Zamir Dagazai, a student from Panjgur, was forcibly disappeared and then killed. Same family, same fate, and 2 generations apart. In Karachi, one young student, Hamdan Baloch, paid the price simply for attending protests. He was picked up, held in counter-terrorism department custody, and killed in a state police encounter. His body returned just days before he was due in court. The message was clear: any Baloch raising voice risked the same terror. Dr. Sabiha Baloch, a Baloch activist and one of the leaders of Baloch Yakjehdi Committee, had her father, Mir Bashir Ahmed, taken from his home in Hab 2025. The demand was explicit: surrender yourself or your father would remain missing. Dr. Mahrang Baloch, a prominent figure in the Baloch Yakjehdi Committee, has watched her relatives abducted and held simply because she refuses to stay silent.
In short, Balochistan is currently one of the largest.
She has also spoken out for other teenagers snatched in the same wave.
From the world. I urge all of you to raise your voices against the atrocities happening to us. Your good minds can save our lives. Today I am
In 2026, the father and 2 uncles of Baloch National Movement chairman Dr. Naseem Baloch, all retired public servants, were taken from their home in a pre-dawn raid. The UK Parliament even raised a motion calling it textbook collective punishment. Mazev Baloch's father, Shafiq Baloch, was abducted from Hab in December 2025 while she was campaigning for the Baloch missing persons. In early 2026, dozens of ordinary Baloch families were forced to publicly disown their sons and brothers suspected of resistance or faced suspicion themselves. Even those who speak about missing are not safe. Human rights lawyer Iman Mazari and her husband were sentenced to 17 years in prison in January 2026 for tweeting calls for justice for missing persons and detained activists like Dr. Mahrang Baloch. This is the cost of resistance in Balochistan. One voice raised and the whole family pays. After years of criticism in 2019, even former military media spokesperson Asif Ghafoor appeared to indirectly acknowledge this reality, saying that while no one wishes for people to go missing in a state of war, certain actions are taken as, the saying goes, everything is considered fair in love and war.
हमारा दिल नहीं करता कि कोई भी बंदा मिसिंग हो। जब जंग होती है तो उसमें बहुत सारे काम करने पड़ते हैं। कहते हैं ना एवरीथिंग इज फेयर इन लव एंड वॉर। जंग बड़ी रुथलेस होती है।
Recently, the government of Balochistan announced a new approach. Chief Minister Sarfraz Bukti introduced deradicalization centers, claiming they would bring an end to enforced disappearances.
रियासत की तरफ से, हुकूमत की तरफ से, there will be no enforced disappearance. So this is how कि हमने हमेशा के लिए ये मसला ख़त्म कर दिया है कि जब हम किसी को भी सस्पेक्ट को, because security forces are operating in grey, when you are operating in grey तो आपको इंटेलिजेंस बेस्ड ऑपरेशंस करने पड़ते हैं और लोगों को पिक करना पड़ता है so that कि आप उनको इंटरोगेट कर सकें और उनको आगे चला सकें। तो गुड थिंग इज़ कि अब 1 फरवरी के बाद जब आज ये कैबिनेट अप्रूव कर दी है जिस तरह कैबिनेट ने, तो इसके फ़ौरन बाद हमेशा के लिए ये जो मिसिंग पर्सनस का इशू है उसको हम दफन करने के लिए जा रहे हैं और ये इशू अब कम से कम इन्फोर्स्ड डिसअपीयरेंस का रियासत के ऊपर नहीं होगा।
According to officials, suspects will be held in state-run facilities under legal supervision with access to medical care, lawyers, and family visits. After 3 months, a judge will decide whether they are released or remain in custody. With the inauguration of rehabilitation or deradicalization centers, government officials appear to signal that a solution to the issue of enforced disappearance has been found. With this announcement, the state is implicitly acknowledging that such practices existed in the first place. The Chief Minister of Balochistan, Sarfaraz Bugti, had earlier announced that enforced disappearances would end from February 1st. However, reports of missing persons in Balochistan have continued to emerge since then, raising questions about whether the announcement has translated into meaningful change. On paper, this appears to be a shift from secrecy to legality, but questions remain. Who defines a suspect in Balochistan? And on what basis? The criteria for linking individuals to the insurgency have long remained unclear and contested. Cases such as the 17-year sentence handed to Iman Mazari for a single post on X or former Twitter, the abduction or extrajudicial killings of Amdan Baloch in February, following its participation in protest, and terrorism charges filed recently against journalist Niaz Baloch for sharing a video of Dr. Mahrang Baloch raised serious concerns. In a region where students, activists, and political workers have repeatedly faced harassment and prosecution due to their political beliefs, critics fear that the definition of a suspect remains dangerously broad. The centers are also meant for deradicalization, but where is the line between militancy and dissent? And one question remains unanswered: what about those who have already disappeared?